Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How are you all doing? Welcome back to some more Seven Kingdoms Total War, a Game of Thrones mod for Total War. Attila, House Greyjoy are going to be fighting House Lannister and House Tyrell here today. We have a massive Greyjoy raid, and it's going to be interesting to see if the Lords of Westeros will be able to hold out against the Greyjoy threat. There are 27,000 men in this battle. 14,800 for the Greyjoys, 12,600 for the Tyrells and the Lannisters. I did round that number down to make it look a little bit nicer in the title. So guys, Balon Greyjoy has amassed the biggest raid that the Greenlands has ever seen. He's been raiding from the Crag to the Arbor, and the Lords of Westeros, House Tyrell and House Lannister on the west coast are trying to put it to a stop. Now, unfortunately, there are no ships yet in Seven Kingdoms Total War. They do plan to. Obviously, there are a lot of Viking ships already in Total War Attila, and it would fit quite nicely with the Greyjoys, I guess. So we've already disembarked for this battle, and the Greyjoys are keen to get some salt wives here today. So, I've had to balance the armies out a little bit. Obviously, the Greyjoys are just charging thick and foremost into the fight. The Greyjoys aren't really used to line battles, so they're just going to go straight in there and try and carve up as many Lannisters and men of House Tyrell. Now, there are no cavalry for the Greyjoys, so I did give cavalry superiority, of course, to the Lannisters and the Tyrells. They have 20 units of heavy cavalry, and they are going to do some crazy damage to the Greyjoys here today. Hopefully, for them, I guess. Now, the Greyjoys have some of the best infantry in Westeros. They don't have any axemen in Seven Kingdoms just yet, but I imagine they would. So we've got infantry, probably superiority over them. However, the Tyrells have some excellent heavy cavalry, and so do the Lannisters. So the Greyjoys excel in archery, so I deliberately gave the Greyjoys longbowmen. Obviously, the Lannisters and Tyrells have cavalry superiority. I did give the Greyjoys some better infantry. They've all got heavy to medium infantry. But to be fair, the Tyrells and the Lannisters do have heavy to medium infantry as well. Bowman-wise, skirmishers, I only gave them just normal bowmen. We do have longbowmen on our side, but we really need to close down on the left and right with the Lannister cavalry and Tyrell cavalry, hopefully trying to flank. So it's a big cluster in the center here. It is an absolute bloodbath. So guys, please do take into consideration that this mod is still in early access, and it is still subject to change. If you want to support the mod and learn more about it, all the links are in the description below. The TWC, the Total War Center, the Mod DB, and the Patreon link. Not entirely sure when the public release will be out for Seven Kingdoms Total War. It's still in a closed alpha. Early access is only given to a certain number of people, but make sure to subscribe to my channel. I will make a video once the public links are available, so you guys can get your own hands on Seven Kingdoms Total War, because it really is a fantastic mod. And yeah, I'm sure you guys want to create some of your favorite Game of Thrones scenarios. Let me know in the comment section down below what other scenarios you would like to see from me. It's going to be interesting to see if Balon Greyjoy can prevail here today. It's not uncommon for a king of the Iron Islands to want to have territories in the Greenlands. Obviously, Harrenhal the Black did have Harrenhal, of course, that's what it's named after. Wanted to build one of the biggest castles in Westeros, and, well, would have been rather successful if Aegon Targaryen didn't show up and burn the place to the ground, and, well, thus extincting House Hoa, which apparently is pronounced House Hor, but I think it's, yeah, apparently it's Hor, but I've always said it as House Hoa. So a lot of the units are just clustering in the center. A couple of cavalry are peeling off around the flanks. I've made the decision here to put some of my spearmen, 3 units of spearmen either side to protect my archers. They do have longbowman superiority, but we just need to block up and stop these cavalry, because if they get hammer and anvil strikes in, we're going to struggle. But we do have decent spearmen. We should be able to hold. We just need to hold on and try and neutralize their cavalry. They're not using their cavalry overly effectively. I would be absolutely hauling ass trying to get behind them And as you can sort of see here, they're sort of clustering on this left-hand side. So guys, if you haven't seen any of my Seven Kingdoms Total War videos before, I do highly recommend going and checking out my playlist. I have done an overview on every available faction so far. The only faction that isn't available just yet, and it's the next up, is House Martell. But I've done a Stark, a Greyjoy, a Tully, a Tyrell, House Renly. We've done House, the two Baratheons, House Renly and House Stannis. Not the most glorious battle with the front line. The Greyjoys aren't used to line battles. They are just getting absolutely stuck in and just hopefully trying to push. If you haven't seen my last Seven Kingdoms Total War battle as well, uploaded a couple of days ago, we had a massive, huge 24,000 man battle. We had a coalition, an alternative history, the House Baratheon, Renly, King Renly leading the charge, King Robert Arryn of the Vale. We had the Starks and the Tullys fighting by each other's side against the Lannister hosts, Joffrey Baratheon and Tywin. I really do love that tree just bang smack in the center of the battlefield. I could definitely see someone trying to climb up and escape. I don't imagine any of the Greyjoys would do that. We do not sow. We do not climb trees. What is dead may never die. So we've got a pretty cool scope of the battlefield here. Just a solid front line. I've put a line of spearmen just to protect my flanks from the cavalry, which is soaking them up quite well. Even some Lannister infantry engaging here. So this is sort of an alternative history. If the Greyjoys didn't invade the north, decided to just raid the entirety of the west coast of Westeros, and House Lannister and House Tyrell are fed up and have banded together to purge the Greyjoy threat. So it's going to be a close one. We do outnumber them slightly, but they do have cavalry superiority and probably infantry superiority. It's pretty neck and neck. The Greyjoys have pretty good infantry, and so do the Tyrells and the Lannisters, of course. We do have skirmisher superiority. I had to sort of even it out. If they have cavalry superiority, we have to have skirmisher. And the infantry are just going toe-to-toe here. There is Balon Greyjoy, the man, the myth, the legend. I love the Kraken on the shield. And if you look really closely on the leather chest plates, you can see the, obviously, engraving, of course. Some heavy Tyrell infantry going toe-to-toe. Absolutely love it. Spearmen and swordsmen holding the front line. Getting stuck in. Yara Greyjoy fighting with her father. I'm sure Euron's probably not here. Victarion and the Dampower will be fighting alongside. Maybe Theon. Maybe we could have Theon here as well. Commanding the Longbowmen at the back, raining fire and death upon the Lannisters. Hear me roar, growing strong. What is dead may never die. Will be a lot more menacing. I just really love that tree. Just bang smack in the middle. Lannisters and Tyrells fighting by each other's side. Brothers in arms, neck and neck. But this is for the Iron Islands. The Lannisters and the Tyrells know if they lose this battle here today, it will be their women and their children paying the iron price. Because the Ironborn show no quarter, are merciless in combat. But as you see here, Lannisters took out one of the Greyjoys. I really do love that tree in the battle. So we've got some Lannister cavalry here pushing up to try and break the Greyjoy spirit. The lighting is bugging out from time to time. So we've still got this massive cluster in the center. A huge front line has formed. Archers raining fire and death, volley after volley back on each other. My god, just check out the Kraken. The array of Kraken. The Lannister red and the Tyrell green and I guess sort of silver with their heavy armor of steel. Spearmen on the left and right holding vast. They look like ants from this angle. Really awesome. A couple of the cavalry occasionally get behind my front lines, but it's nothing that Balon and Asha can worry about. Well, her name's Yara in the show, isn't it? Yara Greyjoy, because they thought Asha will be too close to Osha. Did the same with Robert Arryn as well. His name's Sweet Robin in the show. But at the moment, it looks like either side can win this. If the Lannisters and the Tyrells are a little bit more coordinated with their cavalry strikes, it could have been a lot more different. The cavalry really could have carved through me like piss through snow. We're just sort of sitting back, taking shits back here, and having a hell of a time. So guys, if you are enjoying this battle and would like to see more and support this series and my channel, the best thing you guys can do is leave a like and a comment, and also subscribe if you're new around here. So we're still holding out pretty well on the right and left now. 3 units of spearmen just clogging up the Tyrell and Lannister cavalry. Archers peppering back and forth. The occasional cavalry unit comes past, but apart from that, we are really holding strong and vast. So let me know in the comments what other massive, sort of huge Seven Kingdoms Total War battles that you would like to see. Doesn't necessarily have to be law friendly. Maybe we could have a Stark versus Tully. That's something that would really break the law. But there's a lot of sort of law-friendly opponents. Obviously the Starks and the Frey, Starks and the Lannisters, Starks and Stannis to some extent. Stannis wasn't very happy when Robb Stark wanted to take the northern part of his kingdom. So I do get a little bit tongue-tied here and there, guys. It's early in Australia at the moment. Regardless, let's push on through the battle. Still a strong front line. The Lannisters are trying to break my left flank here. The Greyjoy spearmen are getting surrounded. My right flank looks a lot more secure than the left. The Lannisters have even thrown in some of their heavy infantry to go toe-to-toe with my spearmen. Hold on, brave men of House Greyjoy. We do not slow. What is dead may never die. Ours is the fury. Hang on, there's no Baratheons here. Hear me roar. That's what I meant to say. It's looking a little bit thin and sparse here. Some Greyjoys have retreated. No! The corner has buckled. And now the Lannisters are getting in a bit of a better position. Oh, a nice couple of decapitations there. Nice. Bit of a gap between the left flank and then the centre now. Pushing into it. Here are some of the lighter Lannister units. But they do have a hell of a lot of heavy and medium infantry regardless. The Greyjoys are holding on to the bitter end. Or lager end, I guess. Now there is something that does kind of piss me off about Total War Attila. It's the fact that the units look blue depending on certain times of day. They sort of look... It sort of doesn't do the mod overly justice when the units have a tinge of blue in them. This is a battle replay, of course, but when I originally played this fight, it was a nice sunny day in Westeros. Always sunny in Westeros. That's coming back soon, I can't wait. Always sunny in Philadelphia. Great show, by the way, but yeah, for some reason, every time I loaded up this replay, it would just go to a gloomy, bluish, overcast day, but you can't always have sunshine in Westeros, I guess. At the end of the day, winter is coming, and I guess we've sort of brought the stormy, windy, and wet weather with us from the Iron Islands, because we are Vikings, essentially, at the end of the day. Oh, a nice decapitation there from the Greyjoy unit. A nice sort of press down, slammed his head down to the floor. And there mustn't be much longer of this battle left. Sort of turning into a bit of a grind at the moment. Not too much is overly happening. Both sides are holding vast. Either side can win. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Because I loaded I tried to get the sunny battle because I really like when it's sunny, of course. It does the mod a lot of justice. Because they just look absolutely fantastic, these units. And the lighting seems to be bugging out a little bit here. My apologies. Everything seemed to be going wrong. Cavalry there pushing up to help the infantry in the front line. I'm sure that'd be a huge morale boost. But we've basically crushed the cavalry on this right-hand side. My spearmen have pushed up to the front line. But on the left, we're not doing so well. Yeah, but let me know in the comments if you've had experience with battle replays. And you've had a certain, obviously, weather condition. Maybe it is sunny, maybe it's this tinge of blue. But when you reload it again, regardless of how many times or if you load it in different places in a battle. Just straight off the main menu does it change. But we've got some longbowmen here. The Greyjoys excel in longbowmen, famous for it. Take aim, fire. I'm sure the Greyjoys do have cavalry. I'm assuming they just have light cavalry, but they don't have any in this. Yeah, to be fair, when Theon Greyjoy first landed back at the Iron Islands, when Yara picked him up and he, well, quite blatantly, he fingered her. He fingered his own sister. So that happened. I really love this tree in the middle, though. It's awesome. Just fighting around this tree. That's really cool. Like I said, I'm surprised no one's climbed it. Or maybe we could get some archers up there and just start raining. Raining and just loosing arrows. So the left here is looking a little bit better. We've sort of, yeah, it's sort of broken up into sort of 3 bits. So we've got the strong front line, and then we've got the spearmen that pushed over once the right-hand side was dealt with. But what I've just sort of noticed, one of the tactical flaws that the Greyjoy, sorry, not the Greyjoys couldn't really do anything wrong. They were just tried to make a front line, just fucking charged it. It was that the Lannisters and the Tyrells couldn't get a cavalry charge. So the last sort of remaining cavalry on the right-hand side here, running towards the beachway. Dance them to the cliffs, to the hot gates. And the Greyjoys are going to push them. I guess the Tyrells are going to have one last final sand in the snow, in the beach, just out in the water here. I don't know why they're fleeing in this direction. Maybe they thought they could salvage a small little rowboat or something. Or I honestly don't know. But they're going to hold on here to the bitter end. As the Greyjoys, you can hear them screaming and yelling just over the hill here. We're about to see just a march of Greyjoy spears. Awooga, awooga. For Balon. And the cavalry doesn't really know what to do. Trying to make a line for one last final charge. For Theorenga. For the Rohirrim. And the Greyjoys are just going to make an absolute mess of the last remaining cavalry here. You can see spears just tipping over the hill. They're charging. Want to get this over and done with so they can get straight back into the fight. So we've got a small little engagement here down by the beach. The salt water there spitting off the sea. And we're absolutely just going to rinse the last of this remaining Tyrell cavalry. Knocks him off with the spear. Or shield, rather said. Didn't need his spear. The last Tyrell here trying to escape. The captain is smashed off his mount. And I guess the Greyjoys are sort of celebrating an early victory here in the sun down by the beach. But it's time to get back into the battlefield, guys. We need these units if we're going to try and push and break this massive grind and center holding that's sort of going on. So let's push over back to the battlefield and see if anything's really changed. Not really for either side. A lot of units have broken now. My longbowmen are raining fire and death upon the enemy. They're doing quite well because we do have skirmisher superiority. The left and right flank, we sort of lost that left flank to their cavalry, and they're sort of hitting me here a little bit, but the center is starting to envelop. As you can see here, that tree's sort of a marking. As you can see, it's sort of pushed closer in. A couple of Tyrells and a couple of Greyjoys routing here. So it's not a decisive victory just yet. It's going to be very close. Like I said, there's 27,000 men upon this battlefield, the biggest battle I've had on Seven Kingdoms Total War. Now that some of the units have been killed off, the frame rate's going to come back a little bit better. The reason why it lags so much is not because of my PC. I have one of the best PCs you can get. It's in the about page of my channel if you're curious to know my PC specs. It's just because Seven Kingdoms Total War is a pretty, well, just because of the units and the amount of polygons they have, and you're really not meant to play. You're not really meant to play a Total War battle with 27,000 men on the one field. The game engine is just not designed for that. Like a perfect example is on like 3rd Age or Medieval 2 Total War. Like, that can barely run to some of these massive battles. Go for the flag bearer. Bring down the banner of House Tyrell. But you got to give it to this Tyrell bastard. He's still holding on to the bitter end. Greyjoys are trying to break him, and the Tyrells have just broken here. Throw that Tyrell banner into the dirt. Come on, bring him down. Bring down the morale. And there you go. It just disappeared. And now we've got Greyjoy banners running down the last remaining stragglers. We don't have any cavalry, so we're not going to be able to carve them up overly quite well. There's a couple of squadrons of cavalry just yet. Getting a nice charge here against the Greyjoys, and we're going to envelop them here with 3 units. My god. That poor Greyjoy bastard. Imagine surviving. Just look at that slash. Imagine surviving the entire battlefield and just to the last remaining minutes of the battle, then get a cavalry charge and just break your body. That'd be so unlucky. Survive the mass mosh pit and just the blood and gore there. But we're going to be able to cut off this cavalry charge quite easily. My longbowmen are causing a lot of friendly fire, but the armies are in retreat, and it's going to be a terrific victory. A lot of casualties lost for either side. A terrific victory, like I said. Now let's go through some of the stats now, shall we? It was a terrific victory. 27,000 men upon the battlefield. The first army, let's just randomly give a lord to each one of these. So the first army lost, my army lost 2,905, 795 remaining. Balon Greyjoy lost 2,905. The second army, commanded by Usher Greyjoy, lost 2,358. The third army, commanded by Victorian Greyjoy, 1,781. And we'll go with Harris Harlaw with the fourth, 2,406. Obviously, Dagmar would have been fighting in this fight. Sure, let's let Theon Greyjoy fight, but he wouldn't be given a command, I guess. Going down to the Tyrells, lost 2,882. Mace Tyrell there. Loras with 2,857. Kevin Lannister, 2,783. Tywin would have been at King's Landing. And we'll give Lionel Cracor, the strong boar, pissed off because he owns a lot of land in the Westerlands, especially on that west coast there. Deployed 2,628. Looking at Balon's units here, my god, just looking on the left, my longbowmen did exceptionally well. 454. The second, 485, 546, that is just huge. My archers were the real MVP of this battle. My infantry did okay. My best one did 115. The spearmen, 135. Looking over at Mace's army to the right-hand side here, their bowmen did pretty well as well. 161, 171. But just looking at the difference between their longbowmen compared to just stock standard bowmen, like, that is just absolutely nuts, if I'm being honest. I did give 6 units of cavalry to each individual army, so there was actually more than 20, I guess, then. Yeah, I did. I said I gave them 20. It's a little bit higher. One of the units got 170 kills. That's not too bad. But on that note, guys, you're most welcome to pause and have a look at these in-depth stats a little bit more if you're curious. But thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my social media links, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. If you want to stay connected with me, stay tuned for some more Seven Kingdoms Total War on my channel and some more Total War campaigns as well. My name has been Simpzy. Take care. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Goodbye. Get some really close cinematic shots here, pushing through the bridge. Oh, look at... That was probably the shot of the video there.